Hello, my name is Jae-hee Lee, and I will be covering the first two articles for this week's topic, Demography, Health, and the Environment. First, I will talk about Richard Dogson, Kelly Lee, and Nick Drager's Chapter 37, Global Health Governance, a Conceptual Review, where they talk about the intensification of globalization and its influence on the international health governance, including the challenges they face as well as their proposal on a new health system. Then I will continue on to The Flight of Marriage by The Economist, talking about Asia's transformation from traditionalist views to the current state of marital partnership, including women's education and the challenges of marital decline. Chapter 37, Global Health Governance, a Conceptual Review. This chapter will be talking about the current health system and the wide belief that the current system of international health governance, IHG, doesn't meet the needs of intensified globalization. In other words, the current system's effectiveness to influence or provide for the health of their people are limited through just national actions alone in a globalized world. There is a new need to broaden the public health agenda to apply these globalization effects and ensure the protection and promotion of health is prioritized appropriately. There are four limitations that many believe to be the cause of ineffective health governance: intensified transborder health risks, growth in number and influence of non-state actors, sustenance or worsening of existing issues, and the decline of political and practice capacity of the national governance. The first limitation claims that globalization intensified health risks that transcend national borders. This introduces transborder health risks such as infectious diseases, non-communicable diseases such as lung cancer, and environmental degradation, which all global in their origin and impact. This challenges the current system of international health governance because the system's mechanisms have always been too state-centric to be able to fight global health. This, plus the intensification of globalization, means new risks and opportunities unable to be handled within national borders. Second, globalization is characterized by a growth in the number and degree of influence of non-state actors, including civil society groups, private companies, individual or groups that are part of the government. Many argue that the authority and capacity of national governments to protect and promote the health of populations has declined in the face of globalization due to non-state actors gaining greater power and influence. The distinct roles of state and non-state actors in governance becomes a little less clear. There includes new hybridization of governance mechanisms, such as partnerships between state and non-state relationships, which is a reflection of a search for a more effective way to cooperate and promote health. Third, the current governance appears to be problematic for maintaining or even worsening existing problems, socioeconomic, political, and environmental. This includes reports that globalization have been accompanied by widening inequalities between rich and poor within and across countries, the worsening poverty and marginalization, and health inequity. These problems can be seen as a result of globalizing processes that are insufficiently managed by effective health governance. Lastly, and most importantly, globalization contributed to a decline in both the political and practical capacity of national governments to deal with global health challenges. This is important because globalization's intensification brought attention to the fact that states alone cannot address many of the health challenges arising. For example, infectious diseases, food and nutrition, and etc., and the possibility of the need for a change in a fundamental nature of health governance. Because IHG is structured on the belief and priority for the health of its people and population, it is ineffective and rather new forms of health governance may be needed to effectively deal with the new challenges that globalization has offered. If a new system were to be created, this chapter goes into three elements in which it needs to effectively tackle globalizing challenges. First, the territorialization, or how we think and promote health. We need to reevaluate how we think and promote health that cross and ignore state boundaries. Second, we need to defend and address the determinants of health that is multi-sectoral perspective and recognize that a broad range of determinants can also impact the population health. And lastly, we need to involve both formally and informally a broader range of actors and interests. To actively or effectively address these global health challenges, there is a need to strengthen, supplement, and even replace the existing forms of IHG. Not to get rid of them, but a need for IHG to become a part of a wider system, including many existing institutions as well as non-state defined organizations. The difference for global health governance will lie in state and non-state actors' degree of involvement and nature of their respective roles varying from health issue concerned. The flight from marriage. This article begins by going over the brief values of Asian social norms from Confucian ethnics, which prioritize family for self-improvement, and traditional attitudes that believe that women should wed for childbirth. Many customs in Asia surrounding marriage has been conservative, but in fact, Asians have several different family systems. For instance, South Asia traditionalized early arranged marriages, while in East Asia abandoned that idea of arranged marriage, but rather has a male-dominated system. Yet this article will go into depths to show that Asia is actually changing traditional family life, as well as the role of women altogether. The first important change is that people are getting married much later than previously. The age of marriage has risen 5 years in some East Asian countries and in the last 3 decades. Countries such as Japan and South Korea are having women marry at least 30 and men at 33. Second, women aren't just unmarried, but rather have never been married or cohabited. To further elaborate, in Sweden, marriage is disappearing as a norm as well, but women are continuing to have children and homes outside of wedlock, compared to Japan and East Asia, where there has been an avoidance of it altogether. And third, divorce rates are increasing as well. Divorce has been most common in Britain and America, but not so much in Asia until recently. If you look at the pie chart, the rates of divorce per 1,000 people aged 15 or more are similar, if not the same. Old traditional attitudes continue to exist which believe that marriage is for women to bring up children. But as women education began to improve, modern women are looking at job opportunities and better income than marriage. With the capability to be self-dependent, women are less interested in finding a partner, rather have found expectations to rise regarding a capable husband. This is due to the concept of marrying up, or the value of finding men of higher potential than themselves, which continued to exist from traditional views. Furthermore, women in Asia bared a large burden from marriage, which accumulated a negative perspective. As women are continued to be expected to be mothers and social expectations lag behind changes in women's lives in Asia, women are less welcomed in their careers. For instance, some jobs expect women to leave their positions after childbirth, making it difficult to women to balance both a job and a family. In this case, many women tend to choose a career. But is this decline problematic? There are certainly pros to decline in marriage, such as less forced marriages, the reduction of unhappy couples, and the change in social attitude. But this article's tone suggests more of a con than a pro. Some cons include poor social attitudes in Asia, where many will think it's wrong to remain unmarried, or even hostile hostility towards women's decision to remain single. This can result in violence from spitefulness or a fight between genders. Others include restricted contraception access to non-married couples in certain Asian countries and a dim wedding prospect for the future. But the biggest concern is from the reluctance of women to marry while men continue to desire for a wife. This could lead to prostitution, forced marriages, and violence. According to Asian cross-border marriage migration, 27% of Taiwanese marriages in 2002 involved foreign women, which is 1/8 births that year to a mixed family. Many girls are also sold to their families to get older, richer foreigners. This could end up in a sexual catastrophe. As Asia gets richer, traditional marriage patterns are only likely to unravel further. Next, I will be going on to the discussion question that I have thought of today. I was curious for number 1, do you think the intensification of globalization plays a role in the downfall of marital relationship in Asia? How come? And number 2, vice versa. It's mentioned that there is a need for the changed IHG system to recognize multi-sectoral sectors. How does Asia's decline in marriage impact national health promotion and protection? Thank you so much for listening and have a good day.